Hi, I'm Keith Forshu. I'm the Chief Product Officer, so I'm responsible for the product organization, our design teams, and our engineering teams. So I wanted to talk a little bit about Snagajob's history, where we've come from, the history of the recruiting business, and where we kind of fit into that space. So at Snagajob, we're focused on the hourly worker. So think about people who are your coffee makers, your sandwich makers, your waitresses, and so on, the people that you interact with every day as you go about your daily life. So we service that group of people, and we essentially help hourly workers find great jobs, and we help employers of hourly workers find great hourly workers. So if you think about over the last probably 10 to 15 years or so, the recruiting industry has been transformed. And it's been transformed basically because of the internet. So it used to be you would knock on people's doors to see if there was a job, fill out a paper application, maybe get a phone call for whether you'd been accepted or not. Over the last 10 to 15 years, that's transformed into being fully digital. So people now go look at job boards for what jobs are available, submit a digital application, and you may get an email whether you've been accepted or not. You might have a video-based interview screen. So that whole process has moved to be digital. But at the same time, there are a lot of problems still with those processes. So think about if you're a person looking for a job, then you probably go to look at multiple job boards to see what jobs are out there. Try to figure out whether the job is the right fit for you by reading the often lengthy job descriptions. Then you submit your digital application. Every single job that you want to apply for, you submit another digital application. Maybe you hear back from the employer, maybe you don't hear back from the employer. Eventually, maybe you get a job. And then if it wasn't really the right fit for you, you probably leave that job 60 to 90 days after you joined. So there's a lot of problems from the worker's perspective with the digital recruiting process. The same is true for the employer side. So employers receive hundreds, if not thousands, of applications for every open position that they have. They have to weed through all those applications, reading them in emails or in platforms that you're using, applicant tracking systems and so on. And eventually figure out through the screening process, which is still largely manual, figure out who's the right person. And then hopefully that person sticks around for more than 90 days and often not. So there's a lot of problems with the process today, even though it's digitized. So at Snagajob this year, we're trying to fix as many of those pieces of the problem as we can. Over the course of the last 20 years that we've been in business, we've interacted with over 100 million workers. And that's given us a tremendous database of information about hourly workers and where they're successful, where they're not successful, what makes a job a good fit for them. And so we're applying machine learning to that data set to create a knowledge graph about workers that then we can then use to help workers figure out what's the right job for them. Similarly, on the employer side, we have a large data set around all of the positions that are available and what skills are used to fill those positions. And that knowledge graph enables employers to better find workers that are specifically qualified for those positions. So making that match is really what we're working on this year. And we'd like to get to a point later on this year where an employer only really needs to see 2 to 3 people in order to find the right person, and an hourly worker only needs to look at 2 or 3 jobs to find the right job for them.